Lama Gumbo Jeze Jambe Yangla Cha Cha Lu Kanji Lunde Timni Tinda Nida Namda Prabsave Chi Nyen Tungun Chi Shin Si Chi Ni Je Dungar Lembam Zin Kanda Simbi Tsenra Mari Menton Tungai Jiseve Rotsoy Kun Lai Punji Yen Lai Tuji Yandens Rundai Chendroi Nyumoi Nilong Linjin Chandroi Chonze Chim Mari Munse Tungai Nyungu Chi Nyen Chunze Randi Nam Dene Dajin Sachun Tarsin Yuan Den Lun Zoi Gyal Sin Tu Gu Chu Chai Chu Dan Chu Nin Jin De Ta Lu Mun Sen Jambi Yang Lan Du Marabazana De 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 Marabazana Zendin Kenjin Kenra Wesenjin Talun Timu Mumba Rapsane Kadan Denjin Shunlun Tongbai London Bombe Nangwan Zan Tu So Kangce Tawar Debam Jungsen Tewa Denai Gombo Jamyan Denyi Ni Keme Tongwar Shu Ningji Chenpo Zede Nime Shen Sungde Molam Chenpo Nga Jeta Pegata Nga Tsende Chimido Tenpo Tuje Chenla Kui Cha Sa Ujen Chole Peme Dongbo La Kyawe Namcho Rangju Lunjidu Tsenzo Peche Yenden Tsobarwa Pema Junen Talu Pechorin Chon Leben Ludo Arya Dewa Dan Tomi Ingen Cholan Choji Da Yende Veda Shajewe Gisha Chendu Choni Namla Kui Cha Cha Kunsandor Sen Garab Shiri Sen Pema Karan Jeba Nishu Nga Soso Numnya Te Denja Zatso Kande Lama Namla Sowa De Omen Chuji Inge Podane Tusum Sanje Kunji Ngoni Ransim Chugu Ngonsum Denzen Ba Tsawe Lame Shabla Sowa De Tanso Dewe Lamna Che Lanjur Gonju Toba Powa Chinji Lo Namkada Nyembe Semjen Tamji Namdol Tingi Tewa Lana Meba Yangda Ba Zobe Sanje Ki Go Rinpoche La Kwebar Kiwu Nyembe Ki Samba Jachewa Chanju Ki Sem Rinpoche Saltapte Che Sempre Shu.
Please listen to the teaching giving rise to the vast outlook of bodhicitta thinking in order to establish all sentient beings, my mothers, as far as space pervades. In the state of unexcelled awakening, I will receive these teachings of the sacred Dhamma and put them into practice.
Takang Semper Jawe Chugini Lama Thukdrub Barchey Kunsel Ki Ane Thukdrub Namchul Junyi Yubin Nane Dene Lama Mawey Senge Ki Ane Thukdrub Kor Shwe Yimbare.
And what we are studying here is the the sadhana of the Guru Mawey Senge, Lion of Speech. from the Thukdrub Barchey Kunsel, the all obstacles.
Tene ta Lama Mawey Senge te la de rani kebar cheba la ta thangbo tingi zin namba sumgi ko up ani ten chaye kang tenba la keba sen tindegi kirim gi rimba yobe nane ani thangong tingi zin namba sumgi ko up chulgi ko la ten rakdu jik shu simbare.
And for the development stage of Guru Rinpoche Senge, the framework of the three samadhis is to be applied. And so it's within that framework that we train in the development stage, and that basic structure was roughly covered yesterday.
Na dorduna chogu tongba ni tang rangshin tongba ni mato bedroa semje namla ningje gyuma ki namba ke te ani tong ningje sungdu jube rangshin le ten Guru Rinpoche ki ani soki igi ri karbochi komsulchi shubare.
So out of the state of suchness, permeated by the illuminating illusory compassion, such that those two qualities of the empty suchness nature and the compassionate luminosity are a natural unity, manifests the seed of Guru Rinpoche, the white syllable Shri.
Te sungjuki namba igi ri karbo te le wese tene tene ananzo nijingi number le shengbe ki chinwe ki jikten nangchu ki semchen ngobor zemba tamche changsong samgore.
And light then streams from this white syllable Shri, and it purifies the clinging to a real universe and beings, so the grasping in terms of believing that the world and its inhabitants are entities is purified.
And tanda tilingbo di dube lugindi an tele wese chöba cham songre. Thukdrub Barchey Kunsel gi kerim kebe kapsu ane sungjuk igi ri karbo tele igi ram yam kham sum chöde mata bengo zen tamje sektor chang sentideyang songvegi namba yore.
And here, because the Chinen Yingpo is the concise approach, it just says that light streams from the syllable Shi. Otherwise, in more elaborate ways of developing this visualization, Ram Yam Kam stream from the white syllable, and with these three syllables, the clinging to real world and beings is purified by burning, scattering of wind, and being washed away with water.
Ta chö tamje tongba ni te rangshin le ani jungwa nga ye saben le ani jungwa nga kongko res.
And then on the gradually piled elements, we need now develop the palace on the basis of the syllables of the 5 elements.
Tangbo ta wok ne yang kongko res.
We begin below.
Tene ele tene namke kham chöjungi namba khadok tinga tene kongko res.
The syllable E is the element of space, and we visualize that as taking the form of a Damodaya source of factors.
Tene namke kham te ting tu Teni 이게 얌레 룽기 길코르 야담기 남바 콤고레스.
Then on the on top of the element of space comes the element of wind, which is the syllable yam that has the form of a half circle.
Teni tei gangla 이게 람레 메이 길코르 마르포 아니 다 입 두숨 teni 콤고레.
On top of that comes the element of fire, which is produced from the syllable ram. It's red in color and triangular.
Teni 이게 밤레 추이 길코르 카르보 둠보.
Then comes the circle of water arising from the syllable bum. And it's circular, cuddle,
카르보.
white.
Teni 이게 람레 사이 길코르 카도 세르기 랑신 입 둡시 teni 콤고레.
Yige.
이게 람
Lam.
라마나.
And from the syllable lam comes then finally the circle of earth, which is yip.
입디 둡시 카도 세르보암 세르기 랑신.
And it's square in its design and yellow or golden in color.
And they tingdu teni rinpoche rangshin le tubeki ri gyalbo ri rap ani ip tupshi imba teni kumkore.
And on top of that is the central mountain, Sumeru, which is made of jewels and also square.
양 kapla teni di kongdu shuban na shingi sabungi ige di magomba chene ip dang kadoki namba komba chena yang digi duba chena.
And it is also okay to visualize this progression without first visualizing the respective syllables and instead just focusing on the shapes and colors.
Teni pejana na sungdwa jungwa rimtse sita rimbashindu tanda tseba na shin ani yang dorje sungur ji komkore.
And then on top of this, these piled elements, surrounding that, we visualize the Vajra protection circle.
Teni ta dorje sungur gi uisu yang nganzo tegi sungju gi igi ri karbo le teni igi drum chik teni tele tweni teni rinpoche le drube shaye kang tseni tamji zogwa teni komkore.
And then from in the center of that, upon the elements and in the center of the protection circle, there is the syllable brum, which is the source of the palace.
다 고시당 아니 따디리 겐 찰룩 탐제 다 샤예 강 천이 조바질라 용괴기 천이 탐제 창화다 된디지 곰고래.
And that has to be visualized with all the special features that are characteristic of that sort of fathomless palace.
되니 디 샤예 강 탐제 이게 둠익 대기 남발레 투르둡샤바 임바 깨바 임바지 곰고래. 이게 둠이라 둠데레 샤예 강 탐제 깨바시 곰고래.
And that palace is to be seen as arising from the syllable brum.
다 나란조 중앙아 당 안텐 샤예 강딘조 가르지니 이시기 남발레 트로와지 곰고레 라바이나 나란조 조아 셈제 남 니징기 샤왕도 디르 갑수 율나 율젠 타데베 넘버 똑밤 셴바지 여데바레 디 넘버 똑밤 셴바데 답에 탑라 대당 충백원의 이식이 공바 남바단 다와치 검소지 숭화래.
And why, we might wonder, is it the case that we need to visualize the arising of these structures out of wakefulness? And the reason is that we have a strong tendency to structure everything in terms of object and subject, dualistic grasping. And in order to remedy this, then we have this visualization of structures of wakefulness and wisdom.
ngaranchu namju gyusuk segendila jongwa siam ngaro shagra ani tele jongwe dewu gyusuk segendi suk tang teninga yulgi namba tela gyundegi namba yodera tedi gyu jongwa nga ani dewu tele kebegi chi namba de shayakangi namba ham ta tanga zo rirawa kangkim de zorwa dinzo number tabigi chedu teni dine komgogoire.
So we have a tendency to understand the world as being something that is made out of elemental forms, like the causal forms of the particles of the elements, which then combine in order to form, which then combine and then come to form resultant forms, like the world as we know it, with buildings and mountains and so on. That is our tendency to believe that the world is made in this way, and in order to then transform that perception, we visualize the palace arising from elemental forms.
And jungwanga deyang yumnga yungola samlatangore.
And the 5 elemental forms we should now visualize as being the nature of the 5 female Buddhas.
Jungwa ranjupaltu shenan digi yomare.
If we think of them as the 5 elements as we know them, then that is not right.
Taten shaye kang deyang igi drum shebade sange number nangze ki molam ki toble number tung shabegi igi sabin tele keba hani shaye kang ki number ta thaba tengo di rere layang sanje ki kembe ishe chunji sanje ki kembe ishe imbache komgogore.
And the palace arises from the syllable brum, which is in turn manifest through the the compassionate intent of the Buddha Vairocana. So whatever arises within whichever form the palace takes, we should perceive it as being whatever the features of the palace are, as being the features of the wisdom of awakening.
Ta dindegi korla teni kerim kebanala kerim ki deshi kebanala salbo yores.
And the way this is, we can learn from the instructions in the elaborate instructions in visualization during the development stage.
Tapena shaye khanla kenza dinde yorala kenza koshi yo de chemeshi ki lamne dewa chimbo potang to pebya doji dinde yang sungir.
For example, the staircases and the 4 gates, they indicate the way that one approaches by means of the 4 immeasurables, reaches great bliss through the 4 immeasurables.
Teni kenza ki pangrim ke yoye dinzo tekwa rimba ke drone teni nangdu nisumebe tekwa zeme tekwa de la juba shaye khangna juba ta dinde lasbo kowa yores.
One climbs 8 staircases showing how tekwa rimba ke
tekwa rimba ke drone 때 낭로디 다 니스메비 택바.
Indicating how one climbs the staircases of the 8 gradual vehicles in order to arrive at the ultimate vehicle of non-duality.
디 나란조 직된비기 강바다오 당 디딜라 삼노테 멤버리 이시기 넘버 답의 넘버들이 삼노당 거래.
So in other words, the palace should not be visualized as an ordinary building. It is all what we see are all features of wisdom.
당나라도 레 당보바기 입기 넘버 차장당 다바 차장 테마 톱나양 도르드나 아니 샤예강 기 넘버 차장 상기기 빵도기 연된 천제리 삼네 메바체나양 다 제팀바 차게.
And it's also all right to if we fail to have perfect clarity and in all detail, to think that this palace is the manifestation of the qualities of abandonment and realization of the Buddhas. If we have that kind of basic orientation, that's also all right.
다 샤예강기 우테랑라 데네 나촉 페마 생인데 멘토 페마 담아게 제바지 곰고.
And in the center of this is a lotus flower with 8 petals, a sort of variegated lotus flower in terms of its colors.
데니 멘토 페마 기테와 암 세우디 텔라 데 니메 덴치 단 다베 덴치 곰고.
And in the center of that lotus flower, we then also visualize a sun disk, and upon that a moon disk.
디 간라 데니 간조 라마 마웨 생게 조디 다 살탑고 그래.
And upon those, we then visualize the primary figure, the Guru Mawey Senge.
데니 촉시당 참시여라. 딘조 게라양 멘토 페마기 덴 다레레 미바 곰고 그래.
And we also visualize in the 4 cardinal and the 4 intermediate directions in each of those 8 directions a lotus flower.
다 우이 니마단 다웨 땐라 되게 간조 송두 주비 이게 릭데 멘토기 덴기 땐라 밥 아니 대 용수 줄발레 릭데 데네 라마 마웨 생기기 꿀 귤송 삼고레.
So in order for the central figure to manifest, we visualize the 3-syllable descending onto the discs in the center of the lotus flower and then transforming to become the deity.
라마 마웨 생게 데 데네 펜디다기 남바임바 데네 곰고라.
And Lama Mawey Senge is visualized in the form of a pandit.
데네 구독디 두루송차다 까르살 외된 당세르 세지바라스 다도나 까르라 마르웨 당착바 디네시고 그래.
So he is of radiant clear white color and glows with the splendor of majestic brilliance. So he is white but has this kind of reddish glow as well.
다 나와타도 살와 니마타도 체르와 디네시고 그래.
And he is clear like the moon and bright or radiant like the sun, intense like the sun.
다 딘데기 시지 첨부 단템베 랑신직도 곰고 그래.
So a really splendid, magnificent manifestation.
다디 라마 마웨 생게디 샬직 이마 곰고라.
And he has, we visualize the Guru Mawey Senge with one face.
다 샬직 임베 줌센데 최탐직이 내룩데 추구 틱레 찍코라인 바 천지들이 송거래.
And the reason that he has just one face is that all factors are the same within the Dhammakaya.
데니 깔라 마르 당착바 세긴디 예베견 탐직이 넘버 다나양 지마단 다나양 닝지기 셈제 탐제 제수 송화 마르 당단된 바스.
And the reason that he is clear white and at the same time glows with this reddish hue is that he has purified within him all flaws are absent, and yet there is compassion for sentient beings.
다시지 고마디 견 탐제단 다나양 닝지 세메 바단데베 도아 탐제라 다 제수 짐바테 시지치슈 데레.
That is the main splendor and magnificence of the deity is precisely this, that there's no presence of any stain or any error, and yet there is this great compassion for all sentient beings.
데니 차니 토가라 최제 차자예스다 차니디 투게 참데라 다 최제 차자서 디디라 디디 차자 슈그레 소네.
And then his two hands are joined at the heart center in this Dhamma expanding gesture, which we just saw.
데니 차니디양 아니 닝지 전보당 시랍 동반이 이 천지레.
And his two hands are the represent insight into emptiness and the method of great compassion.
대가나 신기 차 예비 윤에 되는 멘도 빼마기 자와다 제 멘도 빼마지 년기 태가라 되니 다 멘도 빼마 카제바지 슈유 삼고래.
So he holds stems of lotuses which bloom at the level of his ears. So we also visualize him holding onto holding in his fingers these stems of lotuses that extend upward, and they are flowers. They bear flowers that are fully bloomed.
딘데 멘도 빼마 카지비 위수 되니 차 예비기 초데라 되니 데니 두비 렉밤 세겐디다 데니 숨기 된다 탐제 출 도르드나 샤랍지 파르를 침바 데 샤랍지 파르를 침바다 개동베기 렉밤지 슈유 삼고.
And on the right lotus flower rests a book condensing the Tripitaka. So what is the book that condenses the Tripitaka? It is the Prajna Paramita. So we visualize him holding with this flower that to the rest holds 8,000 verse Prajna Paramita.
다 nganzo 개동베 나라 숙내 남진기 바르기 최담제 다 동반이도 뗄라 봐봐 샤랍지 파르시바 타르토바 덴베기 도디 차대기라.
The 8,000 verses of the Prajna Paramita is the perfect teaching that shows and points out the emptiness nature of everything from the aggregate of form and through to omniscient awakening.
딘디기 아니 샤랍 동반이기 된데 아니 탑 군접기 찰라 때니 또 고요디 데 멘도 빼마디 군접기 된등 그래서.
And while holding in this way the Prajna Paramita, the text rests on a lotus flower, which symbolizes the means, that is the support for the insight.
멘도 빼마당 아니 단다 차 예배기 수도 예배 렉밤디 탑단 탑중 똥땡중 기남발라 곰고 그래.
And so we should visualize the lotus flower and the volume as being means, and the outcome of the means, the means an insight with that relation between them.
안 대가나 신기 되니 연발 상아 불베 부디 남송다 다차 연바들라 양 멘도 빼마지 게 멘도 빼마디 간라 아니 상아기 아니 냠nen기 림바 탐제 도르나 되니 불베 규기 땅도 부스티스라 배자 렉범디 다 여바지 공고래.
And in his left hand, he holds a lotus flower. On top of that lotus flowers is a volume of Kilaya of secret mantras, so a Mantrayana volume of Kilaya.
다디 Guru Rinpoche 바유 양료시도 차제 릭진 다 균네 룬두 릭진 온도 주예기 탑더디 되니 불베 귤라 되니 중화라.
And it was through the practice of Kilaya that Guru Rinpoche at Yanglashu was able to manifest the Vidyadhara level of the Great Seal.
상하기 양답의 이식이 된디 Guru Rinpoche 귤라 퉁제기 깬다오지 불베 귤이 차대라.
So the Tantra of Kilaya is the circumstance for Guru Rinpoche's awakening, so to speak.
다디인디 다디 동아 송주기 된 탐제 Guru Rinpoche기 특수 추용디 다디 전지됐던 거예요.
So he holds these two volumes indicating in this way how the realization of Sutra and Tantra are perfectly complete in the mind of Guru Rinpoche.
안 대단한 신기다. 상하기 값수 탑디 계속이 림바 대라 때네 때니 랑내기 신원도 줄바테 차용디 때니 탑 중에 남바 샤오쇼래.
And the relation in terms of method and the outcome of method is in terms of also the relationship between the two stages of Vajrayana practice, the development and the completion stage.
다 우르름부체기 단다 다 벤디다이 넘버 대기 동아 송주기 최말류바 랑기의 공두 추 셴양 디 람네 도바제베기 이셰라 나왕도 줄와 임바치.
So we visualize Guru Rinpoche in this way as a Pandita who has perfect realization of Sutra and Tantra and imparts that same realization to sentient beings.
대가난 신기 착니 아니 멘도페마니 배차 렉범니 데라 데네 탑시 두기 된 상계레스
Tapshi Truk.
탑다 시랍 다 파르도 침바 두기 된 상계레스.
So he has two hands. He has two lotus flowers in his hands, and upon those two flowers are two volumes. That set of six show the 6 parameters.
데니 차 200이 단다 개동바디 시랍기 파르도 침바 청계레.
The Prajna parameter volume in his right hand, on the lotus of his in his right hand, shows insight.
안 대가난 신기 예배초기 멘도페마디 진배 파르도 침바 청계레.
And the one in his left hand illustrates the parameter of generosity.
데니 차 예바디 출림기 파르도 침바.
So those are the flowers, yeah. Then the right hand is the parameter of patience,
출림기 파르도 침바.
of discipline.
데니 차 연배기 렉범 다 풀바디 준두기 파르도 침바.
And the volume on the left lotus is the parameter of diligence.
차 연배기 초레이베 멘도페마디 삼데.
And the flower in his left hand is the concentration parameter.
Tene cha yomba korang sube parchin tungere so.
And the left hand itself is the parameter of patience.
Tadila deshe dinde sungure. Cha yeba chogi ge tongba shirab ge paru chimbe tuende chimba la sokba la ten. Ani dinde ki chimbe paru do chimbe ki gewe tsawa kya chombo chi sa. Ani chulim yang daba sungwe kone ani tongba niki tuen togo yore sungre.
So, and with the cha yeba ki,
Di pecha lekbam di ge tongba di shirab ra. Shirab di khangli kigiri nande chimba kya chombo tang chulim yang daba sungwe kone shirab ki tuen tongwa chigiri sungre.
and the prajna parameter volume that is on the lotus in the right hand, the relationship between the hand, the flower, and the volume is then one that shows how insight is realized on the basis of generosity and by means of the Sultamra, and by means of discipline.
Tangana zo doi chone tongni ki tuen tokbar chepa la chimba dan chulim ni di tsaldu tuen sungwe re.
Because for the realization of the sutras, we need primarily, or there's an emphasis on generosity and discipline.
Tadi tanga ki chogi ta tegi purbe ki lekbam di zundu sto sung shay ra. Didi sherab yinba de nga zo la namdong tokba yomara. Didi la zundu sto sung res.
Now the Kilaya volume we said was diligence.
Tadi zundu segendi kerim dang zorim te la zundu tabu gone tuanju di gyula kyabar cheba dinde yang ko chogre.
Bodhi kona zundu.
바로 진툭시의 준비 라거리 대이나 난도 남주 계속이 된라 준비기 주베고네 계속 랑샬도 통화스.
So the reason for that is that success in development and completion stage depends on diligence. So that is why the volume of Kilaya symbolizes or represents the parameter of diligence. It's on the basis of that we will actualize or encounter the true nature of development and completion. And in particular, diligence is understood as delight in what is virtuous. Yeah. And the nature of the teaching of Kilaya, the practice of Kilaya, is the way to actualize the four joys in one stream of being.
상하기 왕기 뇌dengi 강사 때라 대바 준비 셔럽다 덴베 강사라 대바 쟁기 강사라 풍왕 준비 쟁기 강사라 상왕단 셔왕 아니 셔럽 덴베 강사라 때네 왕시바 숭거리다 디급수 단다 푸르베 듀디나라 쪼디다 ngazo 상왕단 셔럽이식 왕디 되는 거라.
Okay. And in terms of the four empowerments, it is said that the vast empowerment is bestowed on disciples with faith. The Sangwon Sherab whereas the secret and inside knowledge empowerment, insight, wakefulness, empowerment, those two are bestowed upon disciples with diligence.
시랍쟁기 강사라 왕시바 땡고에 송레스.
And for the fourth empowerment, that is bestowed on those with insight.
된 라바르도 지당 왕시가르데 라바르도 되니 왕니바던 순백이다 조림기 냠nen디 다 풀베규낭 송용구라.
And the Vajrakilaya Tantra explains primarily the practices associated with the secret and insight, wakefulness, empowerment.
답 대우시나 민주르베 대화 첨부디 풀베규기 되레스 안 대화 첨부디라 가와암 존디스 민따르람 다디 콜라.
So to put it simply, we can say that the bliss is the teaching of the Kilaya Tantra, and here this bliss is indicated through the joy and the delight that is associated with diligence, diligence being taking delight in what is wholesome.
되니 딘데기 된디 계속이 삼된 라떼고도아 타버체발라.
In order to actualize that, we need development and completion.
된 라바도 세바고 그랬어.
And in particular, we need patience.
다 세바세겐디 된다디 셈기낭로 춥두겐지 고라.
Because we need to be able to accommodate this approach, accept it within ourselves.
최기 내로 상아다도 셰용디 대기 된디 고투겐지다 셈낭로 숑투겐지라 최랑이 생기세바 미투베셈스다 드루샤고라.
We need to be able to receive the teaching of Tantra when the nature of things is explained in accord with the Tantras. Then we need to be able to accept and accommodate that message without, so this kind of unshakable state of ready acceptance is what is then indicated here in terms of the parameter of patience.
디 가서 공덕이 세바케자 말다 셈 마투바고 그래 셈 딱가진 쇠투바스겐디 어레 딘데지고 그랬어.
So the patience here is not bearing with difficult circumstances. It's it's in terms of precisely this unshakable quality.
딘데기 최랑이 생기 세바생인데 야나 때바 첨부주연이 차그래 야나 시랍 첨부주연 차그래스.
And that being unshakable comes either through having great faith or deep insight.
롭종 몽부 마체나야 랑신 링기기 대바 첨부연아양 디철라 셈 미투바 쇠투겐지 차그래.
If one may not have great insight, but if one has very strong faith and devotion, then that will ensure that one's state of mind is completely unshakable and can accept and accommodate the teachings.
야나 롭종 야고 타르침바지 체네 되니 따지 이체 정도수나 양 미투베 셈 차그래스.
Alternatively, it could also be the case that one has studied at length and in depth, and through that similarly become completely unshakable.
따 시랍기 지랑 마인바 대베 지랑기 대바 제사기 율디 거기 응수 마통나양 노르요 말레스 춘일라 대바샤인데 노르요 말레스 거기.
Those who follow the teachings based on faith, because what they follow is true and genuine, there's nothing mistaken about their orientation.
미지기 티와 땅나 콜레 렌 야구 야야 메나양 코랑 대바 미규르바 요나 디 노르요 말레스 오네잖아.
Maybe such a person will not be able to give a very good answer if asked about what it is that this person believes in, but because the faith is placed in the right, because the trust is in the right place, there's no mistake.
다 딘디기 대바대양 차상나 연구요 말레스 영화된 전 소놈기 틀려 중샤와지레스.
And that's not everyone who has able to have that kind of faith and confidence whenever it's the case, then that is the result of merit.
Ola so ta tinde yindi ta Guru Rinpoche donga sungdu jubeki tuen la ngawang to jur shen la yang ti lamne ane thol nubeki ane ta jik chönje la tini peja lekwa mandawa ni namjabe tanda res Guru Rinpoche ta sangi shakya tuba ina zo chewa dota to semjingi ta gyudu tholwa chigirwa Guru Rinpoche ki do tang nga sungdu jubbe lamne dowa semjingi gyudu tholne yang tabe sangi kobang nye ya di tokbe ta gyudu thol korangi ya dindi tok songre korangi tokba na shingi shen la ya lam ti tibi kone thol tuwe ki tabla nga wang do gyudu yongdi dindi ki namba chik kur shangba res.
So we visualize Guru Rinpoche in this way as someone who has realization of the unity of sutra and mantra. So in this way, somewhat differently from the way the way we would visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, who is primarily an image of the realization of the sutra system. But here it is the manifestation of realization of sutra as well as tantra as a sort of unified realization. And because that is the Guru Rinpoche's state of realization, we visualize him in this way, having this realization himself. He is able to liberate others into the same realization himself. And so this is the way that we encounter him here.
Tadigi jela kelong chaluk sunda ta kelong ki chaluk sene namri kelong dinzola korang zola kohengi ta namsa mandawa sum thambayre ta dinzo chasang she shukure.
And he's attired in the robes of a monk, like the 3 robes of a monk, which like monk meaning a fully ordained bhikshu.
Anzo chogo lago chogo tango chogo namjara segendita chogo namsum solwa tindeshi kochore.
There are 3 distinctive garments of a fully ordained monk.
Teni tadi pungdung ngombo segenta tola di namsa ngombo ji shere sungre.
And then he wears a
T-shirt ngombo ji to hapchi dide shere sungre. T-shirt ngombo do ji shere sungre.
And then he and then he wears a t-shirt. A blue t-shirt.
And tadi lamna tab degre.
Easier like that, yeah?
Ta khong di kelong gi chaluk shego jimzen di ani chi durwa dan thumbe nambare.
The reason that he wears these 3 robes of a monk is that he is in accord with the teachings of the vows for individual liberation.
An tegana shingi penditayi shamu marbo dinde shene shu sungda pensha marbo sols.
And he also wears a red pandita hat.
Ina ta penditagi shamu nangla tene uta ringbo che tene Urgyen yore shukure.
And then under his pandita hat, he has long hair and ornaments.
Ta di chunje di nang sanga dan thunbegi tene ringa she yore sore.
And the reason that is so is because with braids and so on is because he has inwardly realization of the Vajrayana.
Tegana shingi ta usha di zo di sungjuk dorjil lepengi kurshimbegi nambares.
And the head shows him as someone who is manifest in the body of Vajra Acharya.
Ta dile kyang ta tabdu shuna kong ani nganzo tulku gi zeba dan thunbegi rabjungi namsa sheba. An kilkor kungi chabda dorjil lepengi nambar shenwala pendita shamu marbo solores.
Tangbo Kantusung?
Nganzo tulku ki zeba dan tumbe ki kone rabjung ki namba ki chul tenba. Daga nangshin ki kilkor ki zo dorjo leben ki namba yinbe chunje la pende tayi usha. Ta dorna donga songdu jube ki lam tenba po yinbe ki chunje togo yore.
And so we can also say that the reason that he wears these robes of a monk is to show that he is in accord with the way of the Nirmanakaya, the Nirmanakaya teacher. And then that at the same time he wears a red Pandita hat means that he is the lord of the mandalas of secret mantra. So in short, the sort of perfect accomplishment of both sutra and mantra.
Ta sanje ki yunden chen sangbo sumju tsani peche sangbo keju ki yunde tam che denbe ki namba la sal tap gore.
And we need to visualize him displaying the major and the minor marks of full awakening of a Buddha, the 32 major and the 80 minor marks.
Tene rabjam kerab gebe kuru sal la de ta donga songdu jube lam chida chini ki kembe yishe ki nangwa tene geba ra tinde ki ta dona namba chila sal tap gore.
So he's vividly present as the embodiment of fully blossomed, all-encompassing knowledge. That is how he should be visualized.
Ta tegi mento pema ke tamba yawa di nane shardu ane jambe yang jambal pawo kudo karbo yimba komko res.
Surrounding him upon the anthers of the 8 petals of the
Tegana shingi
Midok Pema
tenga jo chok shi la mento pema shi cham shi la mento pema yawa ta diru ta tangbo shala jeju jambe yang kudo karbo yimba shi komko do.
Midok Pema ki
Shargi
Dhamma Tensulamar.
Mare korang chilo rang la mento pema shemba chiche diki kimala jeju jambe yang komko res.
So surrounding him upon the 8 lotus flowers, so not on the anthers of the 8 petals, but yeah, but the 8 lotus flowers in the 8 directions surrounding him, and to the east is Jambal Pao Manjushri, white color.
Tene cha ebe gi chok jimba nidra.
Whose right hand is in the gesture of supreme generosity.
Ani yumbe gi tene cheje gi chaja dinde shinangora.
And his left hand in the mudra of teaching the Dhamma.
Tene tega nangshin gi yang cha ye ni ga ne mento peme gi zawa gyune mento pema yudu yesu raldi yundu ani pecha lekmam dinde chi komkore.
And also he holds lotus flower in each hand, and upon the right lotus flower is a sword, and upon the left one is a volume.
An tega nangshin gi yang loru jejun jambe yang ngaki wangchu kudo marser chagni.
And similarly to the south is Manjushri Ngakki Wangchuk, who also has 2 hands.
Ani chagni di cheje gi chaja.
Held in the gesture of teaching the Dhamma.
Tene cha ebe gi mento pema la lekbam ane cha yumbe gi mento pema la raldi dinde komkores.
And in the right hand is a lotus that supports a volume, and on the left, in his left hand is a lotus that supports a sword.
Teganashi nubdu jambal yang kudo marpo changni tene nyamsha gi chaja.
And similarly to the west is Manjushri Sumki Ngadak, also has two Chanyi, and he is red in color, and his two hands are in the gesture of equipoise.
yang tela yang mento pema ni yebe nane egi chokso raldi yongi chola poti pecha.
And he has in his two hands are again lotus flowers. On the right lotus flower is a sword, and on the left a volume.
Ani changdu jambe yang dorjin nombo ani kudo tingna ani chungse chwebe nyam teni cha egi raldi charwa ani yonbe ki chweji chajas ndirwa.
And to the north is Dorjin Nunpo, who is dark blue color, and he looks slightly wrathful, and he holds in his right hand a sword, and his left hand is in the Dharma teaching gesture.
아니 대 최적의 차자네 양 멘토 빼마기 유아 송네 멘토 빼메 강라 빼자 렉밤 여바.
And while holding his hand in his left hand in the Dharma teaching gesture, he again holds in between his fingers a lotus flower that supports a volume.
다 딘조 다 나란조 랄디기 된다데 미시비 타와 미시비 라와 탐지 쮸비기 뉴바단 덴바 셰랍기 랄디 송.
And the significance of the sword is that this is the sort of insight that cuts through the web of all ignorance.
대가난 신기 간조 시지 최군 덴발라 빼자 보디 렉밤 송.
And revealing all objects of knowledge, his hand is in the left hand is in the Dhamma teaching gesture, and he holds a sacred book.
테니 차장기 테니 샵 도르지 길동 슈요 바하레 마웨 생게 코라양 도르지 길동레 잠베양 나바 시가양 도르지 길동도 슈 바하레.
And all of the deities, they sit with their feet in the Vajra posture, with their legs in the Vajra posture. Mawey Senge himself and the four manjushris around him.
다디기 된다데 마웨 생게 단 지준 잠베양 콘나바기 툭데 시시 냠바니 시바다 시베 타 강라야 미네베 촌제레.
And the reason that they sit with their legs like that is to show how these forms of awakening are by no means confined to either existence or peace.
아니 잠베양기 카도 텔라양 카르보 임베 기 된다데 이셰라 디마메베 촌제라 카르보.
The reason that Manjushri is white is to show that Jambal power is white, is to show that there is no stain in wakefulness.
테니 이셰디 넘버 게베기 촌제라 마르셀.
And the saffron complexion is to show the richness of wakefulness.
테니 천다마오데 왕도 제바레 다 제준 잠베양기 두웨 ngobo 시 람네 셈제 왕도 치기로.
The redness of Sung King Adak, that manifestation of Manjushri, is to show the magnetizing quality of awakening. So in this way, the four Manjushris display the four activities.
님버마와 짐바 테니 된튠바 된죄바 사딘데 시고니 셈제 왕도 되어 치기래.
And subjugating or magnetizing the sentient beings through the four means of magnetizing. So being generous, speaking pleasantly, teaching meaningfully, and acting in accord with the taught subject matter.
대간난 신기 시기 왕다기 틸레 시가라 참에 된다라 가도 장고
The fourth Manjushri was
틱나 rollavda 장고에 라그레 틱나 라그레
so it's dark blue or green, indicating the breathful activity.
Teni that one lapshada Kunyang Shera Raldi Budi Nam Latika Sota Jejiam Jambe Yang Shiga Gi Teni Mendo Pema Inaenda Chala Inaenda Kayang Rumikoni Sherab Giraldi Dang and Peja Legbam Di Yure Yusungre.
So as it says here, all hold the sword and book of Prajna, and so whether they hold the sword in their hand or it's upon a lotus flower in their hand, this is the case for all of them.
Teni Tartang Rinchin Kenden Latikasta Longu Giche Nashingi Maranzo Dide Tar Karpola Sergi Ngangri Chinki Toyok Singin Tolokoindoa Shi Karpo Yimbala Sergi Dinde Tiba and Dekanashi Meti Ani Kato Nami Natsuki Tarchang Yunguyo Longu Gichela Tizo Shade Res Jizun Chambia.
And also he is adorned with silks and jewelry, the ornaments of the Sambhogakaya. Kalbo kan det samso.
Kato Karpola, Tar Karpola, Sergi, Ngangris, the remove Mingchiri, Sergi, Dindiki Toyo, Tola Tindishio, Melaya, Meti.
Like the silken garment that the Sambhogakaya deities wear, which is white and has some sort of golden what do you call that?
Rimuchi Res.
Yeah, like design on the edges.
And Tagana singing Tarchun Nabangaki Tarchang Singing. Tar Guirimbu in a Chang Rodal. Kurta Pajamala Kungura. Thomas. Oh, Tidore. Kekurta Shidik Kungi. Tarimbuchi today.
Oh,
Tidore.
And then like a scarf, a silken scarf that they also wear. Like you can see also in India these days, sometimes when gentlemen wear kurta pajama, then it comes with a certain scarf also.
Laporto Tangomagi, Calbutunzuki Tulo Contantati.
So this is like the royal attire of old days.
Tatizo Kare Sedikasu Manzo Nyomongbe Tungwa Chadung Le number 12 Simbeki Dala ten Lazeki Koikumares. Tulokuna Kale Mara Chadung Le Kyogura Chadung Le Tarvara Tenashingi Koyu Ladikasu Takola Chaya than Tangeki Kangal Yomari Lagra Tenashi. Tangazo Tungal number shower Tungal Tamje the number 12 Simbeki Tala Koyeshabares.
And these are very elegant, delightful garments. They wear them to show that they are free from all the pains that come from the afflictions. No, not feeling hot, not feeling cold, with this kind of perfect attire.
다 동아리 주지 마릭바라 마릭바 빵 심베기 다리다디.
So these are signs of having overcome ignorance being the source of suffering.
근데 림보체 기 괜찮던데 셰레 송거래 링아당 다 굴겐당 닝겐당 다 요랄 어딘데 셰레소.
Then they wear the ornaments that are all signs of the five wisdoms, the various jewel ornaments that they bear.
다디 가르스나데 상아데 도연 빵 먹어봐 도연 람케르스 도연 코란기 오티 이식이 남바 때베고니 빵자 빵제를 타비 보내다 춘이가 랩도 연뒤 되게 천지라레스.
And those jewel adornments are signs of mantra being the path of taking sense pleasures as the path, not abandoning sense pleasures, but taking them as the path to attain the realization which is beyond object of attainment and agent of attainment.
다 되게 전다 참시라 되니 양진 릭시 검거래.
And then thereafter follow the in the intermediate directions the four Saraswati goddesses.
되니 샤당 로이 참라 아니 간저 도르제 양친 다웨웨 세겐디 아니 간 카도 까르보레.
So to the south east is Vajra Saraswati, who is white like the moon.
되니 로누브린제 양친 세당 체레스 세기당디 카도 세르보레.
And to the southwest is Ratna Saraswati, who shines in a yellow golden color.
되니 눕장 빼메 양친디 구동마르보.
And in the northwest is the Padma Saraswati, who's red.
되니 장샤 레기 양친디 다 두르 마르게 도세 숭여다 이나이다 티기드나 카도 장구 선들이 레기.
And to the northeast is Karma Saraswati, who is of emerald luster. That's what it says here, but in the instruction manuals it just says green.
되니 양진 릭시 탐지라 차니 여바 되니 찰기 되니 연배기 림보체기 비왕 데 예베되기 되니 비왕 대야기 솔둡스미 여바 되니 공고래.
So all of them, they hold all the four Saraswatis hold jewel precious lute in their hands. The lute, veena for playing music.
대가나 신기 때니 공도 슈반나 신기 아니 다디 다당 림보체 당 괜찮 탐지 조여와 직송래.
And also they are adorned with silks and jewelry in the same way.
대가나 신기 쪽부르슈 송다.
They are seated in a crouching position.
디디다 샵니디데 슈비바라오시. 그랑 구반나 살부도
which you can see very well on tankas.
강바예바디 칠로 강바연바디 낭로티데 슈거래.
The right leg is extended slightly. They sit up like this, and then with the right leg outside of the left.
다 양진 릭시들라 양 다낭한조 도르지 린체 페마 레 세겐티아 된다 데시직도.
So they are also Vajra, Ratna, Padma, and Kama, associated with the four activities.
도르지 셰바디 녀몬 탐지 솨엄바르체바.
Vajra has to do with crushing the all afflictions.
린체 셰바디 나나저기 데베된 탐지 중암 루버체바 림보체 릭티.
And the Ratna indicates the bringing forth whatever is wished for.
아니 페마 셰바디기 이도 원웨고네 왕도도.
And Padma is enthralling and magnetizing with beauty.
데니 레기릭디 셈제 탐지기 된라 틸레 죽발라 토바메바.
And Karma shows or indicates the ability to be active for the benefit of sentient beings in a completely unimpeded fashion.
더 밍라 양젠세 양센당라 최탐지기 다양디 찍도 뒤스나 되긴 남바디 양제마 차기레스.
Yangchen in Tibetan.
최탐지기 양디 시바숨기 다탐제 양탐제 찍두두베 랑신젠디 달리 서로서디 차게 요레스
Chö Samsiki.
양다
So Yangchen means the Saraswati, I guess is exactly the same, yeah. Possessing the melody, it's, literally it would mean, and possessing the melody of, or the sound, the tones of all phenomena, all factors.
최탐제기 양직디 가르레 똥바니라
What is the what is the melody of all factors? It is emptiness.
된 최탐제양 상계탐제양 되니 다 델리키그레스
And from that arises all the Buddhas, all the qualities of awakening arise from that.
추구 똥바니 마토나 상계 말와
Because unless there's realization of emptiness, we will not awaken, right?
된 추구 똥바니 통소나 되니 대상계나 델리 충와스 무수 팔리 파말리 부이케어나스게 마티 된 똑베고니 다 남바 차도그라
So in this way, all the Buddhas manifest from her in this way, not as when a mother gives birth to a child, but through that realization, they all manifest.
다디레스
That's how it is.
되니 고시리 갈보첨보 대시스
At the four gates are the four great kings.
되니 갈보첨보 시디앙 되니 카치도 슈바
And they face outward, like they look out, yeah, with their faces facing outward.
샤르도 율고송 카보 비왕 남바
So that to the east is Lukoso. Yeah, Lukoso, who is who holds also Avina.
로루 파케보 아니 랄디 남바
And to the south is Pakipo, who holds a sword.
눕두 젠미상 카동마보 추덴당 둘기 샥바 남바
To the west is Jenmisang, who is
추덴당 둘기 샥바 남바 차예발라 추데 차연발라 둘기 샥바 남바
Chulkishapa.
둘
Who holds in his left hand a stupa, and in his right hand a noose made by a snake.
장두 남드세세보 얄첸당 네울레진바
And to the north is Tsambala, who holds a standard, a wisdom, victory banner, and a mongoose.
되니 다 딘데 제라 되니 바삼 탐 제라 되니 라마 이담 칸로 잠소 나신 남칼라 팀바 캬바 나신 바삼 메발라 슈유 삼베 메반난 고도
And in between are an ocean of three roots, deities gathered like cloud banks. So everywhere in between these deities are other deities of the three roots. They are gathered so that there are no gaps at all. Wherever you look, there are deities.
되니 딘데기 라케 샤바 딘소양 ngarancho shatala tubegi mi rangju ba taw maimba nangla tongla nangchoba jachen taw chunanggi tawa taw tindegi ta donna nangdong sungju yishegi namrol yimba gyumeku yimba salta kore
And all of them are not present as ordinary concrete sentient beings with that sort of body, but they are the illusory forms of the unity of appearance and emptiness. So that's how they should be perceived, as the natural manifestation of this illusory wisdom. Like a reflection of the moon in water, like apparent, but without anything of substantial existence there, vividly clear and yet essentially empty appearance.
다 게림이 값수 된다 숨디 토롱에 갈청버려.
Dundasum. Yeah. Whenever we practice development states, there are three factors that are really important.
남바 살부 검토.
We have to be able to visualize with very clear features.
다 찍라 ngajar lagar de ngajar rangju ba mare. ngaranzo 깨샤바 탐지 셈기 춘이 되게 윤된 남바 차라이 nga랑 이 삼백이다 땡차지고 그래.
And then the second factor is pride. It's called pride, but it's not what we usually associate with pride. It's the confidence that all of this manifestation arises from the intrinsic nature of the mind. All of this is me.
대가난신기 nga semjenyi ta tanda sanje 공구유 sama 마임바 된라 얘네 산지베 랑신 임바 이체바 지고 그래 대리다.
So basically what this comes down to is not thinking during the meditation practice that I'm a sentient being who is now visualizing forms of enlightenment, but that all of this are the display of primordial awakening.
남다 템바 되게 쉬임바
And
차니 당 샬직디 추구 딜리 냐치 차니 탑셰니 샵도르지 길룽 슈바데 시시냠바니세 레레레레 탐제 산지 투기 윤델라 잡고도 남다 템고 그래서.
and then there's the pure recollection that's all what we looked at before, the symbolism, the way the gestures, the hands, the faces, the way the feet are poised, all carry some distinctive meaning, like the sword is inside and the lotus flower is compassion, and that the sitting in the Vajra posture shows that the deity is entirely beyond both existence and peace. All of those aspects need to be recollected in the authentically.
ngaranzola 류 nga 이기 넘버 또바 요레스.
We think in terms of body, speech, and mind.
류기 넘버 타고 류기 남도 류라 짐베기 착신디 닥제라 게림기 넘버 살다 버레스.
And in order to overcome the grasping at physical body, then we visualize during the development stage.
ngagi teni tiba tabarchevala den sungang tago 그래서.
And in order to purify the obscurations associated with speech, then we recite the Dharani mantra.
이기 넘버 또바 타barchevala teni ngajuma 조림 두당기림 바데 제고라.
And finally, to overcome the obscurations associated with mind, then we train in the completion stage of dissolution and reemergence.
다딘데 거미야 망부디 ngaran 저기 율라 짐베기 넘버 또바 망부이디 디 넘버 또바데 시버체베 탑라 takba tengi yures.
So the reason, in other words, that we train in these aspects of the deity yoga is in order to purify all of these aspects, and so the visualization and completion stage has to be embraced by these principles.
도이 값수 똥바니 땐라 밥용디 강사게 담에당 최기 담에니기 땐라 밥으레.
In the sutra context, we need to resolve the absence of self in terms of the person and in terms of factors.
ngaki kapsu ten shae khang kirim gi namba salta ba tenba lai rangshin to salta pe gone tene thamani gi thwe am tongsa songju gi thwe kyule kyabar chi gi re.
And in Mantrayana, we visualize the support, the mandala structure, and the supported deities in order to realize that twofold absence of self.
당한저 kirim kapsu mangbu chi gom shaba de deshe re re jamna thamje ishi chi gi nam rangshin re do.
So wherever we look at the features of the development stage practice, we see that every single feature is a feature of wisdom.
샬직 창니나 데레 샬숨 착도유나 데레 다 샬구 착접게나 대가랑 그랬어. 이시기 남샤 도반의 체도 그러마도 이시직 그랬어.
So whether there's a single face and 2 arms, whether there's 3 faces and 6 arms, or whether there are 18 arms, this is it's all display of wisdom.
그런저 자직 동나양 자당 오마당 자파디당 진이당 카카 시고라 똥득업식 동그래 대낭식 그랬어.
Just like many different or several ingredients go into making a cup of tea, like water, tea, milk, and so on. When we drink the tea, it's all one.
당한저 게림 검두 값수 당보 nhập자장에 남바라고 그래도 하스.
So when we train in visualizing the during the development stage, it's like going shopping.
근데 뭐수 게림 거랑 다바 텐데 가서 때 뭐지 그래도 하셔서.
And then once we have it all together in the practice and we recall the when we bring forth this pure recollection, then we realize that it's all one expanse of purity.
안 대가나신 닌데기 다바디 마인발라 이바테마 말이다. 춘이고나 예상 개별랑시 임발라 임바테 말이다.
And that is not some sort of idea that we have which is different from what's actually the case. It's simply acknowledging what has always been the case as being the case.
딱 가진 슈바 나신데 단다 샬직스네 초구직레 송도 샘등기 냠랭 값수 샘기 등기 냠랭 나디 초구레다 말레스.
Like for example, the one face we said that this is to indicate the Dhammakaya nature of everything. That there is this one Dhammakaya. Is that true or not?
대가나시 탑당 셰라바운다 셰랍당 닝제 송도 주바라 디가서 다 닝제 세게 딩한도 쫄와 메베기 이식이 당라샤고라 샘등기 냠랭 값수 똥바똥냥 레기 똥사 송주 그래서.
And when we talk about 2 arms and saying that they are the nature of insight and method, so that the emptiness is not just vacuity and absence, but it is emptiness inseparable from means and from appearance and so on. So is that true or not? Is that what emptiness is? Yeah.
안 대가나신기 샘기 춘이 냠랭 뭐마 제게이나 디 냠랭디 시베 탈알루메기 시베 탈루메기 시신이기 탈레 대바레.
And if we really practice the Dhamma in the authentic way, are we then going to be within existence? Are we going to end up in peace, or will we be beyond existence and peace?
디 춘이 뭐마디 시시 가야 말아와.
The intrinsic nature of things is not existence, right? And it's also not peace.
샘기 춘이 뭐마디 똥니 레다 말일라나 레라그라.
If someone asks you, is the intrinsic nature of the mind emptiness? Then you will say yes, no?
샘기 춘이 뭐마디 미주르베 대화침부 레다 말일라나 레라그라.
If they will ask you, is the intrinsic nature of the mind, the unchanging intrinsic nature of the mind, bliss? Then
테니
you will say
대기
yes.
개 똥바당 푸르베베자니가 된다디 샘기 춘이 레도.
So that's what all the features of the deity shows, the holding the personal parameter volume and the kila volume. It's all to bring home this nature, the realization of this nature of the mind.
다 딘데 삼로 땅인데 다 게림 살탑스네 셈기 춘닝 안에 살탑나 딱다 너르기요 말했어. 디 마인 발레 로 똑바다 제바 송진다 제베 살탑나 더동에 딱다 되게 말했어.
So therefore also, if we can recollect the significance of these features in terms of the intrinsic nature of the mind, then whatever it is that we recollect will not be mistaken. And otherwise, if it's not a recollection with reference to the natural state of the mind, then whatever else we might think and believe about these features will not really be correct.
대랑 경우에서 또 만위나 양 라마 담배기 담가 당 죽도 공만 남지 되니 땡주 당 산지기 균낭라 송화텔라 이체니 매바체나 양다 남식 돌트웨기 튕긴차게 이랬어.
And if one is introduced to that nature by a master, and if one studies the teachings as contained in the words of the Buddha and the commentaries in the sutras and in the mantras, then this way of practicing is one that will facilitate that realization.
다 된기 잠배양 된기 마웨 생게 가르르스네 샘기 춘이데 차되기도.
Which is the ultimate manjushri? Who is the ultimate manjushri? The intrinsic nature of the mind.
다 고행만 디라레스. 디인데 검잡거래 손에 된다데레스.
So that's what we really need, and therefore we really need meditation practice.
다디 림보체 야야 숨고도 와서 고바 김진 첨부여스.
That's why Rinpoche says this again and again, that there's really deep reason for reminding us.
나랑도 삼로 땅거래. 셈라 남도 맨에 약사래기 나랑도 오늘 제준 잠배 낭시 락발을 디키 괜찮은 약사래.
So we can think, what is most important? Is it most important for me to be for the mind to be free of thought, or for me to really look like Manjushri?
락발 디키긴 뒤넘보지 캐데나다 잘르거든 최상기.
We would be scary, no, if we have all that.
잠배양 룹세겐디 디키긴 룹나 노르사르다.
So in that way, if you accomplish someone who holds a sword in the hand, then there's something wrong, no?
다디 삼로 노래 메르스 친남바 디인디 남닥 템바 세겐디 야야 삼로 땅거 그래.
That's why it's so important to recollect the significance of the various features, like the significance of the sword.
다 된기 잠배양 룹고 그래.
Then we need to accomplish the ultimate manjushri.
대 된기 잠배양 룹에라더니 탑 망보실라더니 안 두에기 고바 잡았지 요래.
And that can be done with the use of many skillful means.
차 살고 되기 맨다 펴고 되기 숭아 나고 되기 쳐봐 벌고 되기 되게 제네 타마디다 된게 잠배양 강라 샥토에 쳐거래.
So we pay homage, prostrate, we bring offerings, we recite, and so on. Many aspects of practice. Ultimately, they have to bring us the accomplishment or the practice of the ultimate manjushri.
제장 담가 체된다 티 체된 세계디 야야 생고래.
And so we also need to receive instruction, listen to instruction, his instruction, again and again.
대야 라마 똑바 초된 지군드네 똑베 다주토 투제 신주토 사차게레스.
Specifically, we need to receive these instructions from an authentic master whose state of being is liberated through insight, and so someone who has the capacity to liberate others through compassion.
Hola, so that ngarazo chodin didro samshana tiksare tewa chinyo na sorona tenita yang rinpoche ki tima peja de shukjal na yagu yoro sungudu ta tuzo di tanda shushe ma song moham pala tuzo ki tungin tiksona te mutune tima shukjal choba she.
And so we will stop here for today. And if there are one or two questions, that's fine. And Rinpoche asked Khenpo to teach the entire sadhana. There was not really time to do so now, but if there's time in the future, he's happy to continue.
Ta tuzo di tanda shushe ki mindu?
But right now, there's no time.
No.
Huh?
I didn't say no time. I say I don't know when is good time.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So maybe right now. Then,
That's also very good.
yeah. So who knows when that will be time.
ngarangi tabode ngarang mendi tuzo kadu yimi ngarang wa mendos.
Since I'm not in control of myself, I don't have power to say when there's time and when there's not.
ngagi remote control di shambal yores.
The remote control is in someone else's hand.
Di chema tuzo yabushi yodi yang.
So when there's good time, we will have when there's a nice time for this.
Laso ta tiwa chinyo na sono na shen chiwo en chaso yang.
So if there's one or two questions, you're welcome. Otherwise, it's getting late also. Yes, sure.
I have a question about these three samadhis and what do you, like, you don't have the experience of these three samadhis, what to do during the practice if you don't know what it is.
메바치 보레스.
Then you need to imagine.
메바 람체레스 차그레스.
It's practice through imagination.
Imagine what?
저 담제 똥반이래 삼거래.
Yeah, you think all things, everything is completely empty.
안 대가난 신기 딘데기 똥니디 샘제나 마도네 코와라 출데도 삼베 닝지게 버리.
This is emptiness, but sentient beings, they don't know that how pitiful.
안 딘데 똥니 닝제 송주기랑 신레 되네 규사베 이게 시kar보치 중송 삼베 메바치 버리.
Think that emptiness and this compassion are one and now present as a syllable Shri.
다 메바 제기 얇게 땅을 마도 가도 있는 메바치는 되네 지금 말했어.
And so that kind of imagination is a practice that you must develop again and again. Otherwise, it won't really get you anywhere.
Thank you very much.
다 드린 먼저 진짜 저거요 말에 재상 공갈 매바쇼 카다다 이렇게 만나봐지. 제가 미팅에 축제버지.
So since today since the teachings don't end here, let's not offer any kata and so on at this point, and then we can continue again at a later point.
But I need to say a few words of thanks. Shall I say now or after dedication? So, thank you very much, Khenpo, for these wonderful teachings, and thank you very much, Thomas, for the translation. Speaking as the Director of Studies, I would like to say a few words of thanks. Chokling Rinpoche and Rangjung Geshe Institute aspire to educate scholar practitioners. This 4-day teaching was a wonderful example of approaching the study of reality from a contemplative, subtle, and esoteric perspective, which is such an important aspect of learning. Human beings are not only rational, conceptually operating individuals, even though it might sometimes seem that way in our academic and textual courses. The tantric teachings of Mawey Senge gave us a glimpse into the world of the pure view, purity, wisdom, compassion, and how to approach it through levels of consciousness that go beyond ordinary rationality. Thank you for the detailed explanations, and we are looking forward to their continuation. For all you who want to explore these paths of learning, the rational and intuitive insight, we invite you to come study with us. Rangjung Yeshe Institute has a long tradition that combines scholarly and practitioners' education, and Khenpo and Thomas are living embodiments of such a wonderful and extraordinary education. Thank you.
So we will save the cutters for next time, no?
That's Chanju Semcho Rinpoche Maje Panam Kejur Ji Keba Nyamba Meba Kone Kondo Pelwar Sho Sonam Deye Tamje Sekba Topne Nyebe Dana Pamje Ne Kega Nache Bala Tup Sibe Sole Roa Roa